The following news flash is brought to you by the Lone Star Lowdown, providing your daily bulletins for the commodities market. Today in history, news updates, and the inside scoop into the tides of the alternative. Markets for Wednesday, the 10th of February, 2016, opened up with gold at $1,191.50 an ounce, silver $15.20 an ounce, Texas crude $27.94 a barrel, and Bitcoin is currently sitting at about 374 U.S. currency. Today in history, Saturday, February 10th, 1798, Louis Alexandre Berthier, Chief of Staff or Major General under the command of Napoleon Bonaparte, invades the Vatican in Rome, the seat of the Holy Roman Empire. This invasion led to France proclaiming a Roman Republic on the 15th, and the taking of Pope Pius VI prisoner on the 20th. In recent news, the Supreme Court voted 5-4 yesterday in favor of putting on hold federal regulations to curb carbon dioxide emissions, which basically means that regulations will not be put into effect until the courts determine their legality. The White House stated it disagrees with the court's decision, but expects the rule will survive the legal challenges set by 27 states and various companies. The plan was designed to lower carbon emissions from U.S. power plants by 2030 to 32% below 2005 levels, an initiative pledged to by the Obama administration at the UN climate talks in Paris last December. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit will hear oral arguments in the case on June 2nd and rule on whether the regulations are within the EPA's constitutionally delegated authority. FBI Director James B. Comey stated Tuesday that FBI techs have been unsuccessful in unlocking the encrypted data on a cell phone that belonged to the terrorist couple, Saeed Farouk and his wife, Tashfeen Malik, who killed 14 people at a holiday party at the Inland Regional Center in San Bernardino, California on December 2nd of last year. According to investigators, Farouk, a county health inspector, had become self-radicalized via the internet, and his wife pledged allegiance to the Islamic State on the day of the mass shooting. It seems that law enforcement officials never have enough power to access data on encrypted phones, even after cell phone company carriers are served with a warrant. Privacy proponents say the federal government, all the way down to the local PD, have all the tools necessary as a result of the anti-terror legislation passed after September 11th to detect and defuse terrorist plots coordinated over phone and computer networks. This has been your lowdown for February 10th, 2016.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
We are 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America.
We are in an information war, and we are losing that war. I'll be very blunt in my assessment.
Is that we just have to be repetitive about this. It's not enough to simply have a catchy ad on a Monday and then only do it every Monday. We need to do this every day of the week and just really brainwash people into thinking about guns in a vastly different way.
True. Exposed. Radio.
And we are live this February 10th, 2016. This is Truth Exposed here on the Logos Radio Network. I am one of your co-hosts, Cuddy Rowe,
Marshall Soul,
Rick Rohde. And we're live, ladies and gentlemen. Do feel free to call in, 512-646-1984.
Definitely. It's been an interesting week in politics.
Oh, the ticks have been biting, tricks have been going?
Definitely. And then, we also have been having the hoopla with the bread and circus entertainers pushing the agenda as well. You've seen the balkanization messages and everything. It's just been a hair raising, for us who are awake and are on to the tricks, it's just getting more and more agitating.
Yeah. Super Bowl, right? Super Bowl over the weekend, Sunday.
Yeah, definitely.
Day of the Sun. No, yeah, so much stuff. Of course, the Bundy situation is still going off over again, right? The standoff is still going.
Yeah.
No one's really talking about that. Supreme Court rulings. Donald Trump taking New Hampshire for the Republicans, and Bernie way surpassing Hillary really in the amount of votes.
But did he get the delegates?
I don't know. We'll see. I don't think he did. And just so much to cover, don't we?
Yeah, really. Definitely. And it's all, it's just all a part of the same agenda. Everything is, what do we got phones over here, Bing? you know, everything's tied in together. I mean, we've got all these politicians, and none of them are for any real change. They're all part of the status quo. I mean, you've got people like Bernie Sanders saying, you know, the same old rhetoric. We're going to change everything for real this time. Like, I mean, how many times are we going to buy into this? I mean, the foreign policies aren't changing. They'll try to get us with some little issue that we like some little bits of freedom. Let's, you know, ease down on drug laws or something, you know, the drug war, which is good. Yeah. But I mean,
for every little niblet of freedom they give you back,
they're taking about a couple of yards, a mile or something.
Yeah. A couple of football stadiums.
Even Obama ran under that platform of, you know, relaxing, you know, drug laws and, you know, holding people accountable within government and more transparency. I mean, think back to 2008 when he was running. He said everything that, you know, would even get me to kind of lean his way if I didn't know any better.
Well, a lot of people who didn't know who he was.
He's a constitutional lawyer.
Even Bush, you know, being former governor of Texas.
Same thing. Bush, when he ran, he said all the right things.
Back in 2000 against Gore, yeah.
I don't want to do any nation building. You know, I just want to be, you know, small government.
Yeah, non-interventionist military. So many things were on point. Yeah, and it seems like the corral, the charades, the festival and the festivities are continuing on, and just people love it. And hopefully you guys are seeing through it as we are. But, you know, before we get into further analysis, do want to remind you guys that Logos Radio Network is having a drawing to help out for this year's, you know, constant transmitting of great shows here.
Definitely. So we have a really cool gun giveaway. It's only $25 to enter.
Yeah, thank you to donate. Texas Gunworks.
And yeah, first and second prize, we've got, you know, some, you know,
a Spike's skull lower receiver. That's first prize.
Looks like the Punisher be carrying that sport.
Yeah, the Punisher or the Spawn skull, if you will.
Yeah,
those might know.
Really cool. And
that second prize though, that Taurus curve. Oh man, I saw that video you showed me. It got more into detail of that thing.
Yeah, really perfect. Specifically designed
for, you know, concealed carry and, you know, self-defense. It's not meant to, you know, it's not a speed shooter. It's not something you're going to go out and try and do competitions with.
Yeah, or shoot a feather off the head of a whatever.
You might get good.
It's got a built-in laser though, so, you know, that will help, and a built-in light, and it's
and practice makes perfect. So
yeah, really sleek design, and you know, concealed carry. You know, we could use a lot more of that these days, considering all the crazy mess going on around. Mm-hmm. And third prize, don't forget, we do have a vapor kit for third place prize. So
not only can you vape up, you know, get your nicotine if you're into those cigarettes, make the transition from the paper FSC or whatever intoxicated, you know, carcinogenic tobacco sticks, cancer sticks that we got smoking around.
You can vaporize essential oils.
Yeah.
I even heard you can vaporize colloidal silver.
What?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Look into that first though before you go.
Yeah, right.
Doing that, but yeah, definitely some interesting little things to know about right there. And we do have some really great sponsors on the right side of the page that do help support the network whenever you clear your cookies and you know, shop with them, but through us, you know, by proxy. Definitely go check out the non-GMOsolutions.com. Get your storable food, non-GMO. You know, right now is a really good time. I mean, if Bernie Sanders gets in there.
Well, can anyone say Venezuela, right? Toilet paper lines and stuff like that.
Exactly.
One roll per family.
Exactly. So I mean, let's just be ready. I mean, I'd rather be safe than sorry. And definitely, you can always shop through Amazon and help support our network by, you know, clicking on the Amazon link as well. And we have a Global Healing Center right below that. Dr. Group's got a bunch of really great cleansing, detoxifying products that are revolutionary and nutraceuticals and things like that. And then we have the Gold Savings Club, and, you know, hedge against inflation and some real tangible currency. You know, let's get some little gold carat bars.
Yeah, little graham carat bars. Really cool.
Definitely. And, you know, got to fight the man anytime he gets you in the spider web, you know.
You talking about Uncle Sam?
Yeah, definitely, you know.
Try to take your money?
Uncle Sam?
For victimless crimes?
Yeah, for victimless crimes. You know what I'm saying? You did nothing but broke some arbitrary code of
regulatory, yeah.
Jaywalking, whatever.
Yeah.
How to win in court, you know, the no lawyer, no problem.
Michael Myers proven method.
Yeah, it's howtowinincourt.com. So definitely check out logosradionetwork.com as well, and the great lineup of sponsors we're just talking about, and this drawing. Definitely want to get in on it. Can't wait for the final piece to come out, if you will. It's going to be a really cool event. And just appreciate you guys supporting, listening in, telling your friends about it, friends and family about it, and of course you guys calling in and all the support we get. I mean, whether it's spiritual, emotional, or tangibly physical, it doesn't matter. Whichever way you guys can support, we do appreciate it. And truth needs support. Truth struggles in a world an empire full of lies.
Yeah, definitely.
So definitely appreciate you guys supporting us. We do have Kaylin here right off the get-go here on the line. So a caller. We're going to go to you, Kaylin, here. You are live, Truth Exposed Radio. How's it going?
Hey, it's going great. How are you guys?
Pretty good. What's on your mind?
Well, first off, I love your show. Second off, just want to talk about an issue that's going down in Austin politics right now. We have a council member in District 5 who is taking money from the taxi companies. 20% of her campaign is funded by them, and she's trying to push out ride-sharing companies like Uber and Lyft. I'm an Uber driver, and I stand to lose my job as well as thousands of other Austinites. And I just think it's pretty bold of her to be doing that, seeing as how she's the chair of the mobility committee, and she's taking what looks to me like bribes in order to drive out companies. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much a lobby, is what they call it in government. They're being lobbied for certain regulatory action.
And it sounds like the status quo with government. I mean, they don't like free enterprise.
And it definitely sounds like the status quo of the union of the taxi drivers getting up in there, not wanting to have to compete with the innovations of the market.
Yeah, you haven't paid your dues. You haven't paid the license to the state. So you're going to be kicked aside unless people rise up and do something about their local city councils.
Yeah, and Kaylin, or is it Callan, or I don't know how you pronounce your name, bro?
Kaylin. Yeah,
Kaylin. Yeah, Kaylin. Good for you for doing something that is actually, not detrimental to other people's lives. Like, so little are we willing to, so few of us are willing to actually appreciate and give thanks to those people that are just part of the division of labor. Quite simply, you give people rides when they need it at a more cost-effective price than the taxi union. So thank you for your service. And yeah, sure, some people will tell you that you need to get involved with some counter lobby group or some politically organized group that may want to get certain candidates or talk to certain officials in power already in order to sway, and definitely going to the hearings when the county or the city has open public hearings on these specific issues is definitely very very pertinent for you to go if it's your livelihood. Definitely voice your opinion about it. But in the end, something that you may not hear as much as far as a solution when you look around out there is and how would I even put this? Like the heroic decision to go ahead and do things
anyway.
Yeah.
Like it's Uber's a really good example of that, and it's so funny how that they try to make it this structure and
see, that's just it. It's going to be an app. It's going to be an app. So who says to where you can control that app?
We need to just start saying these Uber drivers are not Uber drivers. They're our friends. I'm calling my friend for a ride, and I'm going to give him some money for gas for picking me up and driving.
You're going to give him a donation.
Yeah, donation. Let's just change the rhetoric and go about our counter, economics, as
the guerrilla economics.
Yeah, laissez-faire. Let it be. Let me be free. I'm just going to be free anyway.
If you're providing a service, someone's still going to want it. And it's the still market for it.
Yeah, definitely. And I couldn't imagine being in Kaylin's situation where your livelihood is in jeopardy and you having to move out of town in order to. I know San Antonio, we had Uber and Lyft kicked out of here for a little bit for over a year, I believe, almost 2 years almost. But yeah, when that comes to I couldn't imagine. We definitely feel for you on that one, bro. And it's hard to. It's also hard when you're trapped under organizations like Uber that start off very grassroots and then end up getting caught up in the regulatory process of the whole government system now. Because now you can't be an Uber driver without going through the protocols that Uber has, obviously, and not only that, but the government. We forget that the government is also very much pressuring Uber to comply to certain regulations and codes. So much to talk about on that subject. Kaylin, definitely appreciate you calling in on that. We are coming on a break, so definitely stay tuned.
You are listening to the Logos Radio Network. LogosRadioNetwork.com.
Am I all right? Yeah, I'm all right.
Now is today, and love has been given to grab and enjoy. So let's all grab and let's all enjoy.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Truth Exposed Radio, right here on the Logos Radio Network. And We have Kaylin on the line, and did you want to go over any points, Kaylin, and what were you planning on doing through the situation, and any other topic you want to bring up on that? Cool.
Glad you asked. A lot of people have problems and don't present solutions. There's two petitions that have been going around. One of them was, kind of delicate language. We just want to keep Uber. We like ride sharing, and we've got way more signatures than we actually needed in order to present that to the city council. And they're just going to push this through anyway. They don't care what the voters say. They don't care what their constituents want. So we have a second petition to recall Ann Kitchen, the woman who proposed this whole thing in the first place. And I think that's going to send a lot more clear message that, you work for us, and we want to keep these companies that provide an awesome service and employ Austinites.
Well put.
Yeah, and what was that second solution there, Kaylin? I didn't grasp that one exactly.
So it's the second petition is recall Ann Kitchen.
Recall. He wants
recall on the initial petition. Yeah. And Kaylin, and really, okay, no dissing to that, because that is the proper avenue to approaching your grievances with government, right? At least that's the avenue that's supposed to be appropriate, right? That's the avenue that's been given for the people
willing to listen to you, because a lot of times,
right.
As you just stated, they're not. They're not going to listen. They're going to do what they want to do.
Hence the name government, because it's involuntary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we would leave the final option. Hopefully, you would consider it, like we said. And I know it probably wouldn't even be through Uber. There needs to be, something that I've been looking at very much into, and encourage our listeners to look into, is making apps. I mean, think about the possibilities about, the possibilities for trade and
a ride sharing app.
Yeah, ride sharing app or whatever kind of trade app. Yeah.
I mean, we have the mutual defense, or what's that one called? For if you don't want to have to call the police, you can call, your neighbors and your friends around you.
Yeah.
Were you going to mention something, Rick, about TAG?
Oh, yeah. Kaylin, since you're in the Austin area, definitely want to check out TAG, Texans for Accountable Government, because it definitely seems like an organization that, at least for legislative petitioning and referendum purposes, you can at least, maybe focus your efforts. I don't know.
They could be able to help you out.
Yeah, I know TAG was involved in the original petition. But like I said, this second petition is to recall Ann Kitchen. We want to fire her. We don't care. We know we got the amount of signatures that we need, and she's not listening. So I think, she needs to be held accountable to her voters and to the people of Austin. And if she's not going to do according to their will, then she needs to be fired. And that's what this second petition is about.
Yeah. Well, good for you, and God bless you on that, Kaylin. I mean, it definitely a lot more patience and tenderness than our approach, for sure, because we just kind of get nitty gritty with it, and
I'm
just
with you, Rick.
What we do to have to survive, right? I mean, so long as it doesn't aggress on anybody's property, and I have no complaint against me.
I'd rather be illegally alive than legally dead. They're gonna I'd rather have an illegal job than a illegally legally be and unemployed.
And they're allowing, I mean, let's face it, they're allowing, foreign nationals that are technically illegal, right, citizens into this country, live fairly.
Oh, but you can't be an Uber driver.
Yeah,
and an American citizen.
Yeah.
What is going on here?
No, and it's crazy. I mean, it's crazy. Kaylin really brought up some really interesting points, because, when we consider the taxi union in New York City, I think the license is about $1 million or something.
Wow.
Like that. Yeah.
And that's what it is. They want to force people to get licenses. It's like, hey, we all paid into this, but they're running a bigger business. These Uber drivers are just working. It's just like an independent driver making ends meet.
And that's what we need to realize, is that in the end, how can regular, just self-motivated citizens compete with a multi-million-dollar industry? There's just no comparison. There really isn't.
Yeah, with a monopoly.
How can the small farmer compete with Tyson Farms? It's pretty much the same thing.
With the regulatory and all the hoops and everything.
If it wasn't for all the government,
the tax breaks they get.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and if you're a little guy, you don't get tax breaks. Good luck.
Yeah, you don't get no subsidies.
So if those unions, they get some government subsidies versus they want in on the Uber pockets. Those.
Well,
people.
it's a government. Yeah, it's a government monopoly. It's a government allowed monopoly. Any other ride sharing service is deemed illegal by the state. By the city, by the county, whatever.
By the gangsters.
And by the
I mean, let's call them what they are. I mean,
pretty
really.
gangsterish, yeah.
The mob. I mean,
yeah. So they pick the winners and the losers. They pick who succeeds in the market, and that's just the truth of the matter, isn't it? There's this great quote. The second we allow, politicians and bureaucrats to control buying and selling, the first thing to be bought and sold, all the politicians and the bureaucrats.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So much to talk about. What else we got, guys? This whole New Hampshire thing was pretty interesting.
New Hampshire
went totally different from Iowa, completely different, which people were expecting it to be so, because Iowa is definitely more of a fundamentalist religious right state versus New Hampshire, which tends to be a little bit more open-minded.
Well, should be. What happened? Isn't there a free state? Isn't there supposed to be a free state project going on there?
Yeah, I think there is, right?
People are missing the free part, the freedom part.
And New Hampshire was a big project, the free state.
Live free or
live free or die state.
Live free or be a slave. Pay taxes.
Yeah. I mean, it was.
Looks like they chose being a slave.
Right. It was quite interesting. Trump ended up winning this one out. And as far as delegates go, Trump got the most delegates out of New Hampshire. And interestingly enough, Cruz and Rubio got 11 and 10 delegates out of this. So, it's just interesting. There's so many questions with this. I wonder how many Rand would have gotten if he would have just stayed in the race in another state.
But would he have even gotten any recognition? Because they don't even talk about him whenever he was running, or he was. Well, he suspended his campaign. He didn't continue running it. Not that I was even rooting for him anyways, but he does bring out some good points.
Did you see the scarecrow that was like waiting there, and waiting there, and they're like, if I only had a brain. Ben Carson over there. Ben Carson was a brain surgeon over there with no brain over there waiting forever.
Well, Trump was nice enough to wait with him.
And people are like, dumb Trump. I'm like, nah, he was being nice and waiting there.
He was being nice to the doctor.
He was like, this guy's slow. I'm going to wait here with the slow person.
Yeah, with the dot.
Yeah, and make sure he eases pain. All right, come on now. I'll walk it. No.
And what's that one-liner or that pitch that Rubio's got going? He keeps on saying,
Obama. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I guess so.
Obama.
Obama's not out to destroy America. He knows what he's doing.
Right.
But we also know that some of these candidates are possibly blackmailed behind the scenes, so they might be playing a little dum-dum to bow out before they get exposed for some personal things behind the scenes.
Well, yeah,
it's a political soap opera for you.
Definitely.
It really is. And to
really test the waters and get the feel for the American, their frame of mind, put their foot in the water and see what the state of mind of Americans are, and they're putting on this show to see what they're getting. And look at people, the way they react to Trump. Look at the way they react to Sanders. Look at the way they react to Hillary.
Mm-hmm.
Or as Cuddy likes to say, Hitlery.
Yeah, so we'd like to hear what you guys have to say about these candidates. What do you think about them? What's going on? What's the agenda? Give us your scoop. Call in 512-646-1984. Be right back.
Truth Exposed.
What do you do when a bird with a broken wing waddles into your oven and refuses to leave? I'm Dr. Catherine Albrecht, back with the tale of how one Austrian couple faced exactly that dilemma. Next.
Privacy is under attack. When you give up data about yourself, you'll never get it back again. And once your privacy is gone, you'll find your freedoms will start to vanish too. So protect your rights, say no to surveillance, and keep your information to yourself. Privacy, it's worth hanging on to. This message is brought to you by StartPage.com, the private search engine alternative to Google, Yahoo, and Bing. Start over with StartPage.
Here's a love story from Austria that involves a taxidermist named Bertel Reiderer, his wife Ermi, and a pigeon named Susie. It started the day Bertel found Susie with a broken wing by the side of the road. He took her to a vet, then home, then set the bird up in the garage. But on Christmas Day, Susie waddled into the kitchen, hopped into the oven, and refused to come out. Rather than make pigeon stew, the couple adopted Susie and allowed the flightless bird to make a home in their oven. That was 17 years ago. Sure, it makes cooking tricky, they say, but their kitchen is all the warmer for it. I'm Dr. Catherine Albrecht for StartPage.com, the world's most private search engine.
Looking for some truth? You found it. LogosRadioNetwork.com.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Truth Exposed Radio here this lovely February 10th, 2016. Do hope you guys are having a great week at work with the fam. And most importantly, with the Lord and truth. And hopefully you guys are living to your fullest potential, or at least striving to.
Hopefully thinking for yourself.
Or starting to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If not, hopefully, if you're not,
baby steps are still steps.
Yeah.
That's all that
gotta
matters.
start somewhere.
That's all that matters.
Definitely.
You're moving.
Yeah.
Sometimes you fall back, but you keep going forward.
Gotta crawl before we walk, think before we talk.
Right. Every second, every breath is a new beginning. So definitely take advantage of it, ladies and gentlemen. And we're just about to break down here the stats. We kind of got into the stats. The stats don't really matter. It's whatever. I mean, we can kind of see
it's kind of a charade.
It is a charade. It seems like
Kind of.
almost like Hillary's being given this, even though she's a multi-felon.
She won the coin toss, though.
And I hate to be. I should just hold my tongue for a second, because
bite your tongue, Cuddy. Bite your tongue.
But that tells you about America right there. That tells you a lot about America, where we're at.
No, I can't help it.
Look, they're not even showing the third Democratic candidate. I forgot his name, but there's another guy.
He's out. He's out of the picture.
He didn't step out?
Look,
he's out.
The difference between Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton is incontinent, and Bernie Sanders is constipated. I'm done.
That's golden.
I'm done.
That's golden.
I'm done.
And that was incognito, right?
Oh man, I'm telling you. Oh, because a few times Hillary couldn't stay on stage the whole time.
Yeah, I mean that tells you a lot about America when a multi-felon, someone responsible for multi-level felonies and putting supposedly national security at potential risk for having classified emails being sent out of her unprotected server. I mean that's pretty hardcore. Where are we at in America here? And we got Donald Trump leading up. Of course, right behind and right in front of Cruz, who definitely took Iowa, which wasn't really too much of a surprise considering it was going to be Rubio or Cruz, because Iowa is very much a fundamentalist. And by fundamentalist, we mean evangelically. So not so much biblically, but just, the rhetoric of the evangelicals. But what were you saying?
Maybe whenever it's going to be Trump and Hillary, people actually maybe vote for the libertarian candidate for once.
Who's that?
Oh, that would be great, right? Like, say it's Trump and Hillary or Trump and Sanders, and
it's like people are looking at their options and like, wait a minute, what? I'm gonna go vote for. I think Gary Johnson's running again this year.
Yeah,
not that I'm gonna vote. I can't say that I am or I ain't.
But if you are, and
if I were to, I would definitely probably vote libertarian.
Yeah, because Green Party is pretty much socialist party. It's like you might as well be voting primitivist there.
They kind of get shades of socialism in there.
State socialism.
I have my respects for them. At least they're open about it, and they're a lot better than the Democrats or Republicans. But I'd rather vote libertarian if I were to vote.
Well, I see it as if they did get in, the same thing would happen with the other parties. You just take over the leader, and that's it. You co-opt the party. That's it.
Pretty much, you cut the head off, and the body falls.
Yeah. Or you control the body.
Yeah, and unfortunately, not that libertarianism was ever meant to be a political movement. But unfortunately, some few people really understand the tenets of libertarianism.
You don't vote for it.
It's like voting for libertarianism is kind of oxymoronic, isn't it?
It kind of, yeah.
Like asking permission to be free for freedom.
Running. I'm running for libertarian. What?
Yeah, it's on that priest level, what kind of a contradiction is that? I thought we only had one priest, and his name it was Yeshua.
It's one of the reasons why they don't want you to get into that. They want you to give them the power. They don't want you to give it to
exert your own.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Once you start down the rabbit hole of philosophy and politics, at some point near the end, you come to anarchy, and you realize that the government is that of force, and force is wrong.
Yeah, and in the end, just like there's going to be a split between those that are truly Christian and those that aren't, there's going to be a split between those that are authoritarian
and those who aren't, right?
And those who aren't. Yeah,
it's pretty clear. Everyone who's running is everybody who's participating. Has bought into the lie that there's some kind of legitimate authority over your life.
Oh yeah, and Cruz, Rubio, hardcore Zionists. Right, no need to mention. Let's not even mention Hillary. Come on now, Hillary, really? Hillary Clinton? That's pretty much another Bush term. How many Bush terms have we had here? I mean, you got to go back all the way back to Reagan, I guess. Back to Vice President Senior.
I would argue that Bush was running Reagan right after Reagan got shot. So, and Bush started back then. So,
yeah.
Bush had
Bush,
like two terms.
They're even saying, Bush has controlled the Clintons. I mean, it's just.
Oh, didn't Bill Clinton say that he looked to George Sr. as a fatherly figure?
Exactly.
I mean,
they're like brothers.
Figure?
And it's funny, they sit there and act like there's some kind of different. They're like, we just see things differently on politics.
Yeah.
You
instead of $3,200 being taken out of your paycheck,
32 and a half.
Yeah, $3,250. Vast differences. Major differences here.
Pretty much.
Pretty much comes down to you can't vote for a new master and consider yourself not a slave.
It's.
But who would make all the rules, Marshall? Who would decide everything?
I think the rules are decided.
Morality and
yeah, there you go.
Ethics, common sense, self-determination.
If you don't know.
When you're a baby, how do you learn what to do and what not to do? Just by you get into your surroundings. You learn your surroundings.
Takes a couple blisters. Takes a couple scabs.
Yeah.
You hit your head a couple times.
Yeah.
A couple bumps.
Yeah. You go stick your hand on a hot pot or something. Like, ooh, that's hot. I don't want to touch that. You realize what pain is.
So government's like this illusion of saving you from the burn. Saving you from the bumps and the bruises.
But Burns running for government.
Yeah.
He wants you to feel the burn.
He wants you to feel the burn. And
it's different.
People ride around.
He's not lying. He's not a sociopathic liar.
I saw a lady right now with that bumper sticker. Feel the burn. And I rolled down the window and started yelling, hey, that guy on the corner standing there, we need to give your car to him.
He's feeling the burn.
He's feeling the burn. You need to redistribute your car to him.
He's feeling the burn.
He's feeling the burn. Your family.
You got to feel the burn a little bit.
You probably have two cars.
You got too many.
Yeah, you got too many.
Yeah.
Hey, we need to redistribute your assets. You got too many. Someone else is over there on their asset.
Yeah, I think it's without the yeah, because that's all socialism ever ends up to. And we fail to realize that Trump, Cruz, and Rubio, Kasich, especially Kasich, Bush, oh my gosh, but Trump, Cruz, and Rubio, these guys, is this free market economics? Do we remember what Rubio even stated? If it wasn't for, I forget exactly the exact words, but if it wasn't for government, we wouldn't even have an economy. Is something along those lines?
I think I've heard a few of those politicians say that.
It's how.
And then Trump's love of eminent domain and how he utilized eminent domain to get himself a parking lot for.
But then he also says it's bad, and that's what's bad, and blah blah blah. He's a double speaking out of both sides of his.
Well, he was cool with eminent domain. He's pretty cool with it. Yeah.
Well,
I
seen him talking
pretty
about
cool with socialized medicine.
You didn't see him recently talking about the pipeline over there.
He's cool with building a big wall, which North Korea got that.
Get rid of the welfare. Doesn't matter.
Is that leftist or rightist? What do you consider North Korea? You know what I'm saying? Everyone wants.
He's a pendulum. He swings back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's getting confused on their definitions of things here.
Well, and that's good for them. I mean, if you keep everyone confused and
keep everyone in the dark.
Yep.
Try to pin the tail on a donkey.
Mm-hmm. And that's what you get. And you can, pin the tail on the elephant, pin the tail on the donkey, whatever you want to.
Yeah. They're all donkeys. Right?
Yeah, they're all donkeys.
Yeah.
Point is, you're walking blindly with a tail about to pin something.
Yeah. No question.
Yeah, well, it's the blind leading the blind to their demise, not to quote a really cool band, but
4 more years, man. 4 more years.
4 more years, 4 more wars.
Non-stop, just a revolving door. Well, we are coming on a break. We're going to be coming back, breaking down more news, so definitely stay tuned.
Easy.
And we are back live. This is Truth Exposed here on the Logos Radio Network. And we just discussing the politics.
The oligarchy we live under.
Yeah, everybody wants oligarchy. No anarchy.
Yet they don't even know what anarchy is.
I just saw, what was that movie that had been made 2 versions of that, The Purge, and one of them was called Anarchy. Now they've got a new one, The Purge. What is it? A voting
capitalism.
Season. Voting season.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, these guys.
Well, that one's more fitting.
Yeah.
That one's more fitting. I mean, voting season really is winner take all.
Yeah.
A fight to the death.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just hilarious to see these.
Whereas anarchy, not so much. They
didn't even portray it right in the movie. Of course, they don't. They portray it as chaos. And
never do. As usual, black markets, gray markets, anarchy are always demonized amongst the media.
And why they exist is because of statism. And no one really wants to demonize the real bad markets, which is the pinks and the
reds.
Yeah, and the reds.
Yeah.
What are those?
Yep. Lack of economic understanding, basic economic understanding. It happens. Not a big deal. Not a big deal.
Well,
actually,
it is. But yeah, it's right under. I mean, it goes right over everyone's head, right under your nose.
Well, there's so much happening, ladies and gentlemen. Just so much happening. Yeah, right.
There's so many things.
I know the new game came out, Shipwreckers. This new game, pretty cool game.
Shipwreckers.
Yeah. Dang it.
What is it, Somalian pirates or something?
Yeah, right. No, it's an RTS. Really cool RTS, 3D RTS, where you can like zoom in on the characters. It's part of the Homeworld series, which Homeworld came out with the 3D RTS back in the day. But anyway, they're wow. Talk about now it's a status game, mind you. Yes, it's very governmental in the sense that you got to build your troops to kill people.
Oh yeah, like a bunch of the other ones,
just like all the other games. Yeah,
space steading, homesteading, what do you call them? Yeah, I've seen you playing them crazy status games over here.
Yeah,
taking
now and then,
taking over the world, starting your own empire.
How do you expect us to learn about the statism and how to fight it?
Right? Yeah, you got with it. Yeah, you got to put yourself in their shoes.
You must become the monster to defeat it.
Well, how's you going to think like them, right?
Yeah. So that game recently came out. Pretty cool game. Of course, we got we're all still recuperating from the Star Wars, fanaticism. $2 billion, I think.
$2 billion?
Recently, they broke $2 billion recently.
$2 billion.
Billion, B.
With an inflated B.
Yeah.
A deflated B. A propped up B. A fake B. Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, so that's a lot of money. I know they got my $15.
Yeah, I remember
they got zero on mine. Yeah,
a lady asked
still haven't seen that.
Go like that
Go Pirate Bay with
check it out.
What's that, Marshall?
I said I went and checked it out that weekend.
Oh, I'm gonna go on MovieTube and go check that out for free on the internet.
Yeah.
Somebody pirated that.
And I'm sure Pirate Bay's got their copies.
Well, IP.
That or somebody probably sat in the audience and recorded it.
Oh well, first there's that version comes out first, and then it takes a little bit longer for them to get the real bootleg. I paid this guy in the alley for the hard copy.
I bet you movie theaters are probably looking into how to utilize technology to stop the phones from working, like how the police use.
Oh, I'm sure that's
they did it not from stopping the technology to work, but I think they did it to where everyone in the room received the text at the same time, and like freaked them out because a commercial had to do with the main character, the quick little 3-minute commercial had to do with the main character receiving a text right when they received the text.
What, for real?
Or something like that.
Oh,
but they managed, I forget exactly the parameters of that. We'll look that up and post it on our Facebook page. Definitely check it out, Truth Exposed Radio, on Facebook. But yeah, I think they already managed that, managed to handle that. And it's
well, this means to prevent people from streaming the movie.
But I mean, just to...
They can scramble your phone and make sure you can't utilize
we know that, a couple versions of the iPhone ago, it had parameters for police, allowing them to shut down the camera application, and stop recording, sessions of any kind of encounters at the moment.
People filming the police is doing unlawful acts. Interesting. So, there's always this constant, there's always going to be this constant battle, right, of good and evil, even especially as technology progresses. But I see, the freedom and us using the technology to set us free is ultimately winning, because they can never stop us no matter what. I mean, you can't keep us from free trading in prison. How are you going to keep us free trading in a state?
Yeah. So true. And you know what I see? Exactly. And I see the constant warfare when other options are available. Think about the elite and the ruling elite. When they can just relax and live up their life instead of having to wage constant war, which means friction, then they can live a more comfortable lifestyle in the end. So they may choose comfort. It's like when you have the extremists, right? The Muslim extremists actually come to the West and they realize that the West
then there are strip clubs.
is badass. Yeah. They realize the West is like,
they're like, oh,
heaven
man,
on earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Allah who?
In comparison. Yeah. And I mean,
what?
I mean, in comparison, right? I mean, when you have to, it's like the people coming back from the Soviet Union to the United States. They just started tearing up walking into supermarkets, seeing all the array of foods and options that we had.
Yeah, like, what I get to pick, whatever I want. There's not a line
There's not
just
like
for
two
bread.
onions left.
Yeah, there's not a line just for bread and
yeah.
They're saying
soaked in water.
grabbing their
Heat it
food
up.
like somebody eating lunch at a prison, hovering over, like grab it.
Yeah, exactly.
People fighting for the last crumbs. Yeah,
got wheelbarrows of Reichsmarks.
Yep. Something else that kind of change here gears real quick. I know some people may consider this jumping around. Maybe we're not properly.
the jumping around guy is like way over there on the other side of the country. You need to jump all the way across the country.
I get where he was coming from. We need to slow things down a tad bit.
Oh, that's
a tad bit.
Hey, it's kind of hard,
when there's so much to talk about, right?
I'm anxious.
Yeah, the angst are getting us, but for sure. But if you guys look up this interesting little coordinated event that's coming up here at the end of this year, October 31st, throughout for a whole year, I believe from October 31st of this year until the next year, it's going to be the Catholic Church and the Lutheran Church coordinating and celebrating 500 years of the Lutheran, Protestant Reformation, of the 95 theses that were nailed on that church in Germany, right? So get this. Let's rewind it real quick. Let's rewind that real quick. 95 points that Luther posted on October 31st and pretty much kickstarted the Protestant Reformation, even though there was Protestants before this. Anyway, there's a coordinated joint effort by the Catholic Church and the Lutheran Church to celebrate this event when those 95 points were against the Catholic Church.
Well,
they've
changed absolutely none of those positions.
Well,
controlled opposition.
We do know they like this thesis, antithesis. I mean, they like to bring out the friction to cause. It's a problem, reaction, solution. They know what they're doing.
Yeah,
we see this
once you
here
realize,
in the media.
Once you realize our organization's corrupted, you go. We'll already have the other organizations you may go to set up, and we control those too.
Yeah,
pretty much the sense.
Yeah, it's very disturbing. It's very disturbing. Basically, it's telling anybody that maybe has eyes to see and ears to hear that the Reformation, as far as the Lutherans go, is dead. Punk is dead.
It's gone in the wind.
Punk's not dead.
No, but I'm just shaking my head over here like.
Well, who are you gonna vote for, Cuddy? Trump or Sanders?
I'm voting for God.
That's no vote at all.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I thought we were supposed to be ambassadors for the kingdom of God. That's such a deep.
That's
concept.
when we die. That's when we die.
That's such a right. Not now.
This is hell on earth. Come on, Rick, get with the program.
Yeah.
Sign on with Satan. We'll get with God later.
Seriously though, we're called by Paul to be ambassadors to God's kingdom, to Jesus' kingdom. So, an ambassador in those times didn't partake in voting of the nation that they were visiting, didn't partake in the military, didn't partake in the politics, didn't run for office in the government that they were going to go have diplomatic relations with.
An angle I found lately that it didn't always occur to me, but nowadays when people tell me that they're voting for either side or something, I tell them exactly why I'm offended. And that why it's forced upon me, your choice for a leader, and why it's wrong. I'm like, you're aggressing upon me by saying you want this guy here. And they don't understand that.
Yeah, because he's not just going to rule you.
He's going to rule me too.
Yeah.
And I didn't choose that.
I don't agree
with his policies. I don't agree with this and that. And I don't want to have a ruler.
I don't want my money to be stolen for programs and projects that I don't want to fund.
Right.
That I see no benefit for.
Fast and Furious, bombing
other
countries,
funding ISIS and
funding ISIS,
the cartels, getting El Chapo escaped,
locking them up and escaping them again,
just to keep jobs going,
just to put stories on the news.
They probably just want to blackmail him anyways.
They're getting a cut of that money, man. It's billions. Laundering it through Wells Fargo, baby.
He wasn't paying out his cut, so they had to haul him in and remind him.
Hey, man, pay up,
keeping too much, not paying his cut. Yeah, makes sense.
Can't run that long from the government.
They can just print more of their fiat currency.
Yeah, they'll pull you out of extremely high. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You better be changing. And training every single day.
You can't be what you were, and we are running out of time. We're running out of freedom.
Oh yeah.
The freedom hourglass is like
dwindling over here.
You know, we're like Dorothy trapped up there, and like we've got the anarchist army trying to get us out the door so we can dump the water on the witch and melt her already. I mean, come on, man, this thing's a joke. It's a charade. If we just show that the emperor has no clothes, I mean, everyone's going to stop following the emperor. And that's what we're trying to do. I mean, we're trying. I mean,
we trying.
It's really hard to disillusion the illusion that everyone's been indoctrinated with.
Yeah.
Birth.
Yeah.
It takes time, man. There's certain things that take place in a person's life for them to come to grips with their surroundings and their understanding of things. Some people have it come to them at different times and in different ways. Eventually, it will get to them.
Yeah, hopefully not tragically, though.
What does that quote say? You know, if you don't take a concern in politics will take a
concern in you. Yeah.
Yeah, and whether that's political or apolitical, it's one of those main sciences and main branches of philosophy and logic that we really need to take the time to understand, because like economics, it affects so much that happens in this world, and it's pertinent for us to learn it. So, and we're not the only ones doing it. There's a whole great lineup, particularly specifically on this network, Logos Radio Network. There's a whole great lineup of shows that are doing the same thing in their own way. Definitely check out Truth News Radio Australia on Saturdays. The Vaccine Myth Show, as well on Sundays 2 to 4, Fridays 6 to 8, Agenda 21, Rule of Law, the flagship, Mondays, Thursdays 8 to 10 p.m., Friday nights 8 to midnight. Definitely check that out with Randy, Deborah, and of course Eddie Craig, and Thomas Kiley with the World Report Radio, INN. Great show. Just great lineup of shows, guys. And we do appreciate you guys checking out the LogosRadioNetwork.com webpage. And
there's also that Brave New, what's that, Brave New Radio?
That's very true. Yeah, Brave New Radio with John Bush.
That's on the weekend? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Don't forget about that. Another add to the lineup. Definitely.
Great lineup of individuals on that. And I want to say, Liz, I'm so sorry for that, as far as not being up on the person that's on that, but Elizabeth Everett, I believe. Great show. Great show on Saturdays, of course, with Leland Freeman and John Bush, 11 to 2 p.m. or 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturdays. And yourselves truly, Truth Exposed Radio.
Yes, sir, in the house.
Every Wednesday, 6 to 8 p.m. And Crypto Show. Don't forget about them. Right after us on Wednesdays, and same time slot, 8 to 10 p.m. on Sundays. Always breaking down the great stream of info that's coming out of the crypto.
And it's so pertinent with the crypto, with the rise of technology and everything. We, for us who are getting older and, the younger generations, there's always.
They gotta be tech savvy, man. There's so much going on in the technological age.
Gotta stay on top of that tech, man. Definitely.
It's good to see them young bucks coming around.
Yeah.
So when you go to the LogosRadioNetwork.com webpage and you go to any of our sponsors, be it the Non-GMO Solutions, GHC, Global Healing Center, Gold Savings Club, the No Lawyer, No Problem, How to Win in Court, or even just shopping through Amazon, and you go through our page, it actually helps out the network. Be sure to clear your cookies, and you do support the network by getting yourself some nice goodies. So
so you don't, just have to give us money, or
it's a mutual back scratch here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just use us as a proxy,
And if you appreciate our back scratching, well, feel free to join in the drawing. Hey, what the heck, right? $25 gets you in a drawing for a really neat armament here by Central Texas Gunworks. First prize, the Spike Skull lower receiver.
And that's a skull lower receiver. That thing has a skull on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely very cool. Very cool. It looks, I don't know if they even have that in production. They probably do. I'm sure that's not just a one of a kind thing, but it's very cool 3D skull on that lower receiver. Awesome.
I heard the eyes get red after 30 rounds.
Probably take a little bit more than that, but
yeah. No, don't quote us on that one. Yeah. But second prize is the Taurus Curve. Really neat.
Specifically made for a concealed handgun.
Yeah, Mossad looking.
Definitely looks like it was made
James
by
Bond looking.
Some Israeli agents or something.
Yeah, some James Bond.
Definitely awesome.
00 over there. And of course, third prize is the Vapor Kit, which a whole litany of different things, medicinal or just
quit that,
recreational. You can get your fix or get your sticks off.
Hey,
break your sticks. No, you can. Yeah, really cool vapor kits. I mean, way better than cigarettes. That's for sure. That's for sure. If you're gonna ingest nicotine, you might as well do it in a way where you're just getting the nicotine for the most part. You know, want to avoid all
less. I'd say less toxic.
Right. Less chemical, less paper burning.
But, you know, I mean, to each his own. Different strokes for different folks. Some people don't like them, but, you know, hey, you can use it for different applications, as we mentioned before.
And you can probably sell it on eBay, too.
Hey, man, or, yeah.
Sell it to me. Shoot.
Sell it on the corner. Whatever. Yeah, I need one, too. I'll take one. So if you win, holler at us, and we'll buy it off you. Help support the network.
Yeah, no, definitely, guys. And this is for the rest of the year. I mean, to keep all the great lineup of shows going, to keep the broadcasts transmitted in the Austin area and in other areas. Do appreciate you guys supporting. And ends I believe February 14th. So
a few more days.
Yeah, we got a little bit of time left. It ends Valentine's, so we got a little bit of time left. We're not even
show your love.
We're not even at 25% of what we need to be. So this is kind of an issue here, and just rest assured that this doesn't go to any of the actual radio host, if you will. You know, I mean, this is
if you don't like us, we're not getting the money. Don't worry about it.
No, I mean, yeah, seriously, this is strictly to keep the shows going, ladies and gentlemen. So, unfortunately, things aren't free, and the FCC does like knocking every now and then and doing what they do. So
some things are free.
Yeah, I guess,
but not really. They're costing us, but we're giving it to you for free. We're giving
even love. Even love free. You have to have it costs the courage to do it.
It costs the courage to do it, don't it? Even love, right? Even love got some kind of sacrifice involved in there. Some dedication, if you will.
No question.
Maybe
we might be doing this for free, but someone who's producing us on the other end is paying the cost. So we do need every little bit, every little bit helps.
And of course, Logos is the one that has a full responsibility of this. So this is
and we know
awesome
just as well. I mean,
endeavor that
more
Logos
than most, the hectic drama going back at HQ. So yeah, we do need all the financial support we can get.
Yeah, and it's strictly to get the shows going, guys. I mean, this is just as simple as that. I mean, unfortunately, we don't live in a utopia as of yet, and if we did, we wouldn't have to even do what we're doing. There would be no complaints. So,
well, there's no such thing as a utopia, but our version of utopia would just be everything strictly free and voluntary. I mean, well, not everything free, but all interactions, everything voluntary, no force and no coercion.
This side of the kingdom, right? This side of the kingdom of God, of course.
Yeah, and even then, that's not utopian, but I mean, that's not saying nothing's bad's going to happen, but that would be my version. Definitely. So
the coercion of the state,
the initiation of force.
That's all they do. So one state we were talking about in particular here for the last couple of weeks now, we've been breaking it down, is this Zionist state in the Middle East here.
The Zionist occupation of Palestine.
The so-called state of Israel.
Yeah, it's an occupation of somebody else's land.
It's the world's largest concentration camp.
Well, and I think that's what people fail to realize, right? I mean, we got barely into the Congresses last week, the different Congresses that took place, and there's every 4 years, and they hold a Congress, and they have their agendas set forth and all this and that. That we forget that, this is very much a recent phenomenon. This, every day in the media, we're portrayed as if, it's portrayed as if the Middle East has been in constant turmoil and just always will be and always has been and forever will be in constant, suffrage and warfare. And
if that is the case, why do we get ourselves involved? Oh, that's why perpetual war. Oh, that sounds good for us. Warlike nation.
Yeah.
Well, it's a problem having a standing army, too, because the standing army is always looking for a reason to exist.
They're standing around doing nothing, looking for war.
Aren't they? That's the truth. That's the truth. So we talked about the Zionist Congresses, which essentially started in the 1890s. That's right, the 1890s.
Wow, that's a long time before.
That is a long time. 50 plus years before
Israel's even existence.
Yeah, wasn't it in Paris?
It was in Switzerland. It was in Switzerland, actually. The Congresses took place.
So how you saving up for 5 years to buy a house? They're saving up for 50 years to buy a whole country, to invade it and create their own state in someone else's country.
Yeah, it's a steady investment. You have to change people's points of view over a progressive long period of time.
Right. Exactly. You've got to infiltrate religions and create
subversion.
Schofield Bibles and stuff.
Yeah. Get theology on your side.
Yep.
In order to justify an irrational political front. I mean, it's irrational, ladies and gentlemen, because from the get-go, it really had no, how would you say? I mean, the Jewish settlements in the Palestinian area from the 1890s on forward, through the Rothschilds and then eventually through Great Britain supporting them, the Balfour Declaration. It really, I mean, there was some tension there. I mean, some of those settlements were even antagonistic towards British troops. They thought they had such claim to the land that they could kick out the British themselves, who gave them the opportunity to even settle there to begin with. You know, it's a very thick ideology, and we need to at least recognize this, no matter what side of the position you're on, whether you support it. Right, whether you support it or you're against it, really, we need to at least realize and come to the agreement that this is a religious dogma. This is a theological position here, right? Basically, this is a particular interpretation of Genesis 15, where God gave specific land to Abraham, and they're applying it physically to people nowadays who are just, I guess, calling themselves descendants of Abraham. So, stay tuned.
Now,
this is the Logos Radio Network.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Truth Exposed Radio, right here on the Logos Radio Network. One of your co-hosts here, Marshall Soul.
Cut it, Rope.
Rick Rowdy.
Phone lines are open, 512-646.
1984.
For those who know about 1984, we living in it right now. Wake up!
Yep, indeed.
So much. And ladies and gentlemen, we really, again, need to lay down some preliminaries here with the Zionism stuff. There's so much to cover here. I mean, we can get into details as far as all the different battles, all the different people involved, and what happened at every single year.
There's
during
different branches of Zionism.
There's different branches. What do different Jewish sects believe about Zionism? How do they change their beliefs? What do Christians used to believe about the Jews? What do they believe now? There's just so much information. We've been trying to
Let's give you a taste of it so you can
get your feet wet a little bit.
You can look into it and see for yourself all these different perspectives and history and things that have taken place that to give you a better understanding. But there's so much that goes on. It would take a long plethora of series of shows.
We could make the whole our show just about that. I mean,
yeah,
we really could.
Every day we could just talk about
the Zionist agenda.
Like that one show.
We really could. I mean, it's that deep.
JFK.
It's that deep. It's
that much information.
There is.
Yeah. What were you saying, Marshall?
We were saying though, like the one podcast that could just sit there and does JFK stuff.
Oh yeah, exactly. Or vaccines or Agenda 21. I mean, it's all of these agendas, all of these little things going on. I mean, there's
categories and subcategories, and movements and sub-movements and subversive movements,
front groups and roundtable groups and
smoke screen groups.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. Mirror groups and
yeah.
Definitely.
Everywhere. So really, we don't. How would we say? Like this wasn't really meant to be like an exhaustive, year by year, event by event analysis of the rise of Israel. We really wanted to focus, which we already have. We wanted to focus on the fact that prior to 1948, there had been quite an organized movement already in the works, and that's really what we want to encourage you guys to look up for yourself. Is look up Zionism prior to the creation of the Zionist state. And just see the formation of it through, obviously, Great Britain and the United Nations. And it's just really deep. And then mixing in modern theology, and realizing what has gotten America, what has convinced America to support pretty much an endless stream of wars in the Middle East.
Our preachers.
And that's exactly right. That's exactly right.
And because that's happened now there's all these people able to demonize the hell out of your so-called peaceful religion because you've been misled to go along with thinking that going about war is peace.
Oh, you're saying people that despise Christianity now because it's portraying itself as a warlike religion.
Yeah.
Just as
you're bringing shame to the name of Christ.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
People view it the same thing about Islam.
Exactly. Well, that's what statism does.
What kind of God do you serve if Muhammad, being the main prophet that he served that God, did raids on trade routes and took different wives, from people that he killed people and took their wives? I mean, that's a pretty big deal. I don't recall Jesus doing that.
But so assume you do follow that. Or can't you just be better than that and just like go up on the evil aspects? I mean, how are we supposed to coexist? You know, if you're trying to, I guess we're not. You're just trying to
enforce your way.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Right. Whereas Christianity was always about the internal conversion, the internal salvation of each individual. Very opposed to this collectivist mentality of all, you know, one race or one type of people being saved, but rather it has to be a personal experience. It has to be a personal experience. And you know, a lot of philosophers and a lot of historians would argue that the birth of individualism as a philosophy really started with Christianity, primarily the teachings of Christ himself. You know, when in an age and an era when women were considered second-class citizens, you know, he basically talked with them and treated them as equals. He had no, you know, you were supposed to treat them as lowers, as people that were serving you. You were supposed to treat them kind of disgracefully, if you will. But Christ refused to do so. He treated everyone with respect, and they even thought it was kind of weird. The apostles took it as kind of an offense when he was so kind to, you know, women, especially women that weren't Jewish. The Samaritan woman, for example, that he asked, "Can you fetch me a little cup of water from the well?" You know, his apostles were like, how are you even talking to that woman, right? She's not a Jew. She's a woman. Like, you know, it was a big deal in those times, in those very racist, very closed-minded, very patriarchal time frame. Christ is like, you know, you want to talk about the birth of feminism, you want to talk about the birth of individualism. Look at Jesus. I mean, really, I mean, seriously. I mean,
I was just about to mention, I mean, how come you don't see the feminists coming out and preaching these words and calling attention to this and saying, why, well, if you're Christian, why aren't you
following Christ?
But they won't even, it's almost like they're the opposite. It's almost like they're satanic.
Yeah, it's almost like Christianity is a problem in their eyes. Right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and you can see why. I mean, because people have been misled and.
Yeah. Jesus, save us from your followers. Yeah. Seriously, because
it's
yeah.
And you know, what was that one saying? You know, Satan's chariots being pulled by God's men. I mean, that's what's happening right now. I mean, all these people who think, you know, they're doing God's will, and you're pulling the wrong chariot, bro. You're in the wrong fight. You're on the wrong side of the battlefield.
A road to hell being paved with good intentions, right?
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, organized religion has been subverted. You have to study these things and and worship by yourself or with like-minded people.
Yeah, and you know, you may not agree with everybody. Obviously, when it comes to people that really break down the Bible for themselves, you can't expect to, just like someone that breaks down philosophy for themselves, you can't expect to agree with somebody 100% on every single point. It ain't going to happen. We need to learn to be forgiving. We need to learn to be accepting. We need to learn to be look beyond ourselves and look to what we have in common. I mean, and again, this isn't a call to blind unity, to just unity, you know, kumbaya, just for kumbaya's sake. No. This is. But this is, again, you know, a reprimand of those people that seek to divide when there's no reason to divide. You know, you run into those people too. You know what I'm saying? That's another extreme as well, where people that just disagree to disagree, or people that divide just to divide, versus when they can build bridges.
I just don't like that. Cause you said it.
Right.
Because I just don't agree with people.
Right. You can't be right. You know, I have to be right all the time, or whatever. You know, like people get all caught up. They can't agree with somebody. I've seen it happen too many times to deny the fact that, you know, it's like, come on, bro. You know, you just agree with what he just said. There's no reason for you to be so adding. You know, yeah, granted, you can add something to it, but at least acknowledge that there was something right that was said. You know, I don't know. So many times we're like quick to say, oh yeah, but it's this, or but it's that, or no, you're wrong, or this and that, and we don't take the time to acknowledge each other's. You know?
Oh yeah, and everybody's in a different level, a different state of learning and understanding. So I mean, we're not going to have the same, you know, level of understanding. Sometimes some of us have been through more things, or some of us have been through less things than others, and some have a greater understanding than others. And you never know. I mean, you could be wrong. I mean, that's just the way it goes. I mean, just be open-minded and try to think critically about situations before you just jump on bandwagons and you know, just, you know, simple rhetoric and stuff, slogans.
Yeah, it really took a long time for us to come to the positions that we're at. I mean, didn't it, guys?
I had to challenge. People. We had to challenge every single thing we were brainwashed to think.
You're always evolving based on things you learn and perspectives you've come across. And, and that's life. It's a journey.
You're not even living life if you're not doing that.
Right. You're not the same person you were 5 years ago.
No, of course not. Liberty and Protestantism aren't accepted immediately. It's a life journey, and it doesn't have to be Protestantism either. I mean, whatever your religious walk is, but I mean, I would highly suggest checking out the Word of God and testing it with history and testing it with reality. I mean, I would really suggest that before you do anything else, and test that for yourself, because that's what we're called to do. Test everything for ourselves, and that's what we want you to do. So
stay tuned. This Truth Exposed.
Hey, wipe that grin off your face. States across the U.S. are officially forbidding people from smiling when they get their driver's license photos taken. I'm Dr. Catherine Albrecht, back to tell you why the long faces at the DMV. Next.
Privacy is under attack. When you give up data about yourself, you'll never get it back again. And once your privacy is gone, you'll find your freedoms will start to vanish too. So protect your rights, say no to surveillance, and keep your information to yourself. Privacy, it's worth hanging on to. This message is brought to you by StartPage.com, the private search engine alternative to Google, Yahoo, and Bing. Start over with StartPage.
If you're applying for a driver's license in a growing number of U.S. states, don't even think about smiling. A big grin in your photo is now considered illegal. That's because smiling defeats the software they use to map and measure people's features for facial recognition. Officials say they're preventing identity theft by comparing new license photos with existing ones. But of course, once they've got your scowling mug in their database, they can use it to track you. All police need to ID you in a public place is to snap your picture on the street and compare it against what's on file. How long does that take? The answer, 1 second. I'm Dr. Catherine Albrecht for StartPage.com, the world's most private search engine.
We'll be kidding about chemtrails.
You're listening to the Logos Radio Network at logosradionetwork.com.
And we're back live. This is Truth Exposed here on the Logos Radio Network. We do appreciate you for tuning in. Having a good show. Getting on some rants here. Ranting and raving.
Can't help it.
Man, you really can't. We're in the age of almighty deceit. The wool has been pulled over the masses' eyes.
It's not a cookie cutter show. It's not scripted, so you're gonna have to rant and rave in the real, the feel.
The real feels sometimes comes out.
We got the Agent Feels coming out.
Agent Feels. It feels good.
No one's ever fought an agent.
Not a feel agent.
Yeah. They all run.
Yeah.
Yeah, so much to really cover when it comes down to the Zionist aspect, and we haven't done it justice. We haven't, but we've tried our best.
It's really hard to do it justice.
We've tried our best to kind of establish some of the main points. We discussed the theological establishment of a Jewish political state, the different verses in Genesis, the different promises made from Jehovah God to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob concerning their seed and the land that was promised to Abraham. We broke those down, and we highly suggest. I personally highly suggest, in particular, I don't believe everything Calvin taught. I'm not a Calvinist per se. I don't believe in predestination or original sin. But John Calvin, 1520s, 1530s, had a great breakdown on Genesis. So I really suggest you guys, highly encourage you guys to check out his analysis of those promises made to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and how he really applies it in the proper sense. Along with all the other Protestant founders, including Orthodox church fathers, if you want to go that route. I mean, all of Christendom as a whole really saw those prophecies in a certain way until Darby and Schofield came around, and they really started promoting a different agenda.
Yeah, they started tweaking it big time.
Yeah. And to no surprise, right around the time that the Zionist movement was becoming a political movement. Is there a coincidence here, possibly?
No.
A synchronicity? Never, right? There can't be. No, that's just conspiracy talk. That's just conspiracy talk, guys.
Sometimes you got to get them with the gotcha.
Let me go make you a tinfoil hat.
Yeah. Because
you're crazy. That doesn't make sense.
That's what you call, timing and
coincidence.
Coincidence.
Everything's a coincidence.
Yeah. I'm sure. I'm sure British Israelism and the rise of Armstrong and his philosophy had nothing to do with the fact that Britain was defending Jewish settlements in Palestine, which was soon to be called Israel. Has nothing to do with the idea that, the British are the lost tribe of Dan and they need to support the same, political motives in order to be in the graces of God. All this has nothing to do with each other.
That's too hard. It's just too easy to just be like, what'd they say? My feels.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what, and it's easy to go nationalistic with it, isn't it? It's easy to go family ties, tribal, very family, very nationalistic. It's easy. This religion, my culture is the right culture. My land is the right land. My people are the right people.
My borders, my state.
Right. We are the perfect God ordained. We are the chosen people. This is
how you live life.
As a status.
Yeah, as a status, right?
The illusion that
you're not a heathen,
that you're grander than right, that you're grander than a human being, that you're better than that, some kind of demigod at least.
And it's like mainstream. I mean, that's what's pushed. I mean, it's the money's behind it, the politicians are behind it, the media's behind it.
Whoever's backing the politicians is behind it.
Yeah.
So really, we just wanted, again, to bring attention to the theological points, to the historical points, the fact that Zionism existed way before Israel came into creation. We're not even really getting into all the litany of wars that these guys had. I mean, they had a lot of wars. And we forget about all the list of wars. I mean, from the Israeli War of Independence to the reprisal operations, the Zeus Crisis, the 6 Days War, the War of Attrition, the Yom Kippur War, the Palestinian insurgency in South Lebanon, the 1982 Lebanon War, the South Lebanon conflict, the First Intifada, Second Intifada, the 2006 Lebanon War, the Gaza War, the Operation, the Pillar of Defense, Operation Protective Edge. I mean, just,
well, it takes a lot of force, to steal, some land and to take over.
And that's basically what it really comes down to, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're trying to, again, really highlight at the bottom of it all. And we're going to have to say it bluntly now. We're going to have to, just like Cuddy did, we're going to have to say it bluntly. These Jewish settlements stole land from people that were, whether they were Christian, Jews, or
they were already
Muslim,
there.
They were living in Palestine. And this is a historical fact. You can't deny it. And at first they were buying the land. At first they were buying some of the settlements.
Legitimately, they weren't stealing it. They were just slowly
buying it up or whatever.
Whenever, they could. They knew not to come off forcefully right away. They knew that wasn't the way to go about it. At least
you can't start off heavy, right? You gotta start and you gotta end right. Everything in between doesn't really matter.
You gotta butter them up. Then you pimp slap them.
Then you butter them up again.
Yeah, then you butter them up again. Then they're like, oh, they forget about the pimp slap.
No, there's this story. Apparently, they asked Stalin, a bunch of his, high up Soviet comrades asked Stalin, like, how are we going to get the people to submit, to everything, all the control mechanism that we want? So he was like, pass me a chicken, right? So they give him a chicken. I don't know if this story is true now, but I heard a couple people already say it already. They pass him a chicken. He starts plucking it. And it's alive. He just starts ripping out his feathers, right? And the chicken's yapping, crying, right? Because, I mean, it's like ripping out your hair. I mean, probably thicker than that.
So the people are like, all right, stop.
Well, no, he keeps ripping it out. But then after he like basically plucks like half the chicken, you know what I'm saying? He has food in his hand and he shows how the chicken comes to his hand to eat.
Even after he's plucked out.
After he's beat it up.
Yeah.
Right? And he says, this is how we're going to control the masses.
We're going to beat them up and then we're going to give them something.
We're going to give them something. We're going to control the food. We're going to control the supply of livelihood.
Control the basic needs and then you'll control them.
Pavlov?
What are we heading to, ladies and gentlemen, with Sanders, especially the ultimate control freak? Government should control everything. And Trump, where making America great again does entail government controlling everything in order to make it great again, whatever great means.
Great means
it doesn't mean letting it go.
It could be an acronym for something too.
Good riddance.
Let's not go down that road.
Yeah. No, yeah, but you see what I'm saying. Is that both really very heavily imply socialism. Whether you go with the full out utopian dream of Bernie Sanders, or you go with the nationalistic, populistic, dream of grandeur that Donald Trump has for himself in his agenda. And the American people are swallowing up. We should have seen this coming. Because after seeing so many of our friends forget about Bush in the Bush years.
Yeah.
Right. And try to blame everything on Obama. People that were awake during Bush, that were calling Bush out as a tyrant, as a socialist.
All this happened when Obama got in.
As a Democrat.
Did you forget about 9/11 and all the rest?
All of a sudden are switching their tune and saying it was all Obama's fault.
No. This has been happening. All of these presidents, like, pay attention. It's encroaching.
It's in succession. It's just continuing on. The same old boss. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss, right?
Yeah, slightly worse. Because he's keeping all the old rules and he's adding some more. Take that.
They got to get someone good because, to compete with the way Obama ran things, was able to slip a lot of legislation and executive order action in.
And that's what gets me about Donald Trump supporters is they admittedly want somebody. They say that Cruz is too soft, that he would want to go through the actual congressional process of getting laws, passed the proper way. So they're down with a dictatorship.
Yeah.
They want a dictator. If you talk to the Trump supporters, and it's obvious, it goes without saying with Bernie supporters or Hillary supporters that they obviously support dictatorship. I mean, that goes without saying. Do not conflate us with defending Hillary or, Bernie Sanders, God forbid. But Trump, come on now, ladies and gentlemen. They want a dictator.
Don't be a sucker.
Trump supporters want a dictator. Don't be a sucker now.
Let's get out. Run. Exit the building. Coming up to a break. Truth Exposed Radio.
Easy.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen, with that hardcore casualties there. We are all we have tonight.
We are all casualties of the state.
Aren't we all, right? Aren't we all casualties of the government?
TV casualties.
Yeah. Public school casualties. Modern medicine casualties.
I was making another band reference.
Genetically modified food.
Yeah.
Vaccine.
Speaking of modern medicine, I got my appendix taken out like a couple weeks ago, man.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
that's right, dude.
You're missing something.
I had postpartum, man.
You're like, man.
I know that typically happens with women that have like babies in them. I understand that. You have a baby growing in you.
They took a part of you. They might clone you.
But they took a part of me, and I can't help but wake up at night sweating, thinking, what are they doing with my appendix?
Dude.
I don't know. Maybe that's a little bit too edgy. It's calmed down a little bit. I'm going to admit.
They take all our placenta at birth. I mean, they're doing something with that.
I'm going to admit, it's gone down. The weirdness, the tension.
You getting ghost pains like the people that lose a limb?
Hey, you think at the hospital there's just like a dumpster full of like arms, legs, fingers, and like appendixes and stuff?
To the hot dog factory,
That's what I'm worried. I think the same thing. I'm like,
Oscar Mayer.
What are they really doing with everybody's chopped leg? And
something.
Man, I don't want to. No, that's messed up.
Yeah. Some kind of government.
They don't have an incinerator back there.
Some kind of government granted science abomination going down. That's for sure.
Yeah, I seen they caught this fish in the sea the other day, and it looked like a gray alien's head, and I was like, man, I don't want to know, man. I don't want to know, dude.
Get it out of here. Yeah. Get it out of here. What the heck? Yeah. You talking about the one that inflates, that looks like the fat lips and everything? Like, it looks like a human face, basically.
It kind of did.
Yeah,
this is a different one.
I think that's a deep water fish that inflates as it goes up.
There's a few different ones,
but the pressure, relieves. Oh man,
you can't make this stuff up. Though.
You can't. You can't. We do. Just so much to cover, ladies and gentlemen, and definitely check out. Wow. I mean, there's really this is the last week we want to spend on this whole Zionist agenda. It really is. I know we've been talking about it.
I mean, we'll come back and touch on it here and there, obviously.
Oh yeah. We need to do another rewrap on the Christendom exposed and Islam exposed, and then come back to Zionism and the Talmud and everything.
But I mean, it pops up in every day anyway. So,
it does.
We just laying it out. And
True.
Definitely.
We got to set the stage for when other things pop up.
Yeah.
We really do. And this has been part one. Kind of introduction, more than you'd hear usually. But nonetheless,
definitely on the radio.
yeah. But nonetheless, we consider it an introduction because we're barely scratching the surfaces. I mean, even the last 6 episodes, I don't even know how many we've done on Israel. 6 to 8 or something like that. What? Probably, I don't know, 4 to 8 or something like that. Episodes we've done on Israel so far.
Has it been that many?
I think so.
Wait,
man. I think so.
No.
At least 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We also touched on Turkey
in between there. It could, we consider the Armenian genocide and the Turkish, secular uprising and everything. Yeah.
Because that was all taking place on
the beginning of the crypt. The
original crypts.
The original crypt. So to really wrap things up, ladies and gentlemen, we really encourage you guys to look this up for yourself. Read the classical interpretations. Look into the history of Zionism, the history of Israel as a state,
the Balfour Declaration, the Ottoman Empire, all kinds of things in history that led up to this, and
the bloodline stuff. Are we all Jewish? What is a Jew?
Does it even matter?
Does Jesus care about that? I mean, so many things to cover. Really to look into and research for yourself. That just listening to somebody give some rant political rant isn't enough. You can't be selling yourself short like that all the time.
No, we're just trying to give you that little...
Get you curious to look into it for yourself and make your own decisions based on the information you come across. Once you
Spark your curiosity.
Enough,
Yeah.
You know.
Think for yourself. That's really what we're getting down to. You can disagree with us. That's fine. That's fine. So long as you can explain yourself in a rational position, in a rational format. I mean,
and we can have a rational discussion.
You may even change us.
Yeah, true.
Right. We're not hesitant to change. Anyhow, we do have Rick on the line. Richard here, Texas, from Texas on the line. I do believe this is Brother Rich.
What's going on, Rick? What's on your mind?
Hey, I'm doing all right. I just wanted to drop this in because I hadn't heard anybody else talk about it. If you guys have already talked about it, then you can drop it. I was looking into Trump's bloodline to see if he was part of the presidential bloodline. And there's a show on one of your competitors, RBN. His name is James Kelso. He said he's related to Trump through his grandfather's line. And he said Trump's grandfather is related to a guy named John of Gaunt out of Scotland. And he said all of those bloodlines lead to all the other royalties throughout antiquity. And so I was just, asking people, if Trump is part of the bloodline, then we can expect the same thing that we got from the rest of the bloodline.
Yeah, Trump does look Scottish too.
Hey, I have heard that. I have heard of that bloodline. And if you want to take that even further, just go and look at Trump's penthouse.
Mm-hmm.
And that gold penthouse he has is just full.
What is it? What is that?
I mean,
gold.
No, but not just gold. I mean, statues of gods, of war, and all
royalty
kinds of,
and whatnot,
yes.
kings and queens of ancient past, European past.
This guy knows more than your average bear.
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
To have all these,
and you ain't gonna put up a statue of nobody unless he's somehow, important to you in some way. Possibly family. Yeah.
Look into that penthouse too, just to add to what Rich is saying.
Yeah, that's a good point, Rich. Yeah, we didn't think about that as far as looking into, because we know that all the bloodlines have been interconnected and
anyone who's going to win presidency has to have. I mean, most of them have always had the majority of the bloodline.
That intermarriage of the kings and queens of ancient Rome, definitely coming into the 13 bloodlines of the Illuminati.
Yeah, and we all know after they serve as president, then they get knighted by the queen. So definitely some
get benedicted by the Pope.
Yeah.
Sainted by the Pope, whatnot. Yeah, that's a really good point, Rich. We're definitely have to look that up and definitely start posting that as far as the bloodline there of Trump. And anything else you want to bring up?
Oh yeah, I'll be quick. I know you got to go. On his grandmother's side, apparently his grandfather Trump, spelled with P. He went up to the Washington, Seattle area where I'm from and ran a brothel. And then when that went under, he went on to Alaska and started picking up roadkill to feed some of the gold rush fever people headed to the Yukon gold rush. So, I can't knock a man for his hustle, but I just don't trust Trump no more than I trusted Obama or Bush. Like you guys said earlier in the show, they all make grandiose promises, but then when it comes down to actualizing their promises, we're left hanging. So that's all I got to say. Thank you, fellas.
Appreciate it, Rich.
Hey, no problem, Rich. No problem. Appreciate you calling in. And as always, great info by a listener there. Highly respected listener, Rich.
And we do like it every
Richard.
time. The listeners always call in with perspectives. We're always over here rambling on and get kind of caught up with the conversation. And people are able to sit,
perhaps.
Yeah, our perspective. And then people are able to sit back, analyze, and then add to and bring perspective. And it's always great. And we always encourage people to call in. And
the field of view is made so much larger.
Yeah,
so much better.
We always need a better and greater perception.
Oh,
so
definitely. Gotta get that 20/20, that 40/40 vision going.
We're not over. Yeah, throw that white
120,
stick.
120.
Throw that white stick in the trash, man.
Yeah, totally. Totally. And, looking into the bloodlines, that's something that I forgot about. That's really actually a really great point by Rich. It'd be interesting to check out we know Hillary, the Clintons are very much tied into the bloodlines. We know that. It'd be interesting to check out Bernie Sanders' bloodline. Also any kind of, university fraternities that any of these candidates may belong to. That might be interesting to look into.
Oh, it couldn't hurt.
It couldn't hurt.
You should have to turn in your pedigree before you run for office.
That'd be funny.
Show me your papers.
Actually, you should just not be in office.
Cruz wouldn't have gotten Iowa. That's for sure. You got to turn in your papers. Isn't he Canadian or something?
But
birther.
Get a rope.
Second, I'm a second generation birther over here. Yeah, I question Obama's birth and certificate, and I question Cruz's.
Yep.
Get him out of here.
Oh, they're not going to like that. Oh, you criticizing both sides now, You acting like there's not a difference, huh?
Yeah.
One's called a Republican now, boy. The other one's
See,
Democrat.
he's got the R in front of his name.
The other one got a D.
The other one got a D in front
One's
of his name.
red, one's blue.
One's an elephant and one's a donkey.
A
See?
jackass now.
Yeah,
Come on.
Yeah, see, it's clear. See, you see, it's
One
clear.
just take off running. Another one, you feed a carrot and it goes where you want.
Yep. And they call us right because we're always right. See, you better see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And if you're on the left, then you just get left behind.
Yeah, you get left behind. Yeah, in the rapture.
Yep.
You better watch out. Man.
Oh, man. The rationale, man, of poor people today.
See, an elephant would fight to the death a donkey any day.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I determine my vote. You put
them as peanuts. I'll raise your peanuts with my carrots.
Dumbo and get that gumbo going. Elephant gumbo.
Oh man, we are in doo-doo creek right now.
Yeah.
It's not looking pretty.
So much stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we do appreciate you guys coming on for the ride, and as always, we appreciate you guys supporting, checking out what we're talking about, doing your own research, bringing that to the game. Because this is a game, and we need people on our side. We need people on the truth side, not on arbitrary sides or anything like that. We need people on the truth side. So, wherever that may fall, wherever that may lay, wherever that path may go.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere, man. Let's wake up and let's get active and start thinking critically and for ourselves. Really that simple. Really that simple.
Oh, yeah. We got Crypto Show coming up next. And, of course, we'll be back here next Wednesday, 6 to 8 p.m. Truth Exposed Radio. Rick Rody.
Marshall Soul.
Cuddy Rowe.
Yeah.
Truth